Hello, you are listening to Cut It Out, Collage and Papercraft Conversations. I'm your host, the Red Wizard. Before we get into this collage conversation, first, the obligatory shameless plug. One way to support this show would be by visiting my Amazon affiliate store. If you do that, you'll give Jeff Bezos more money and he will throw me a few cents. You're probably going to be making collages anyway, so why not click a link on my store? Also, I got some pretty cool big 11 by 14 collages on here, and I have some smaller, or actually you can print them any size. I have some ones you could download and print at home that are a little bit cheaper. And you can find all of that at redwizardcollage.com or just click the link in the video's description. All right, so also I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions that you would like to ask one of our guests, you could always comment below, or you could shoot me a tweet at Red Wizard Says. Today, I will be speaking with Kike Congrains, aka Kansas City, aka CollageWave, coming to you live all the way from Lima, Peru. Kike makes stunning illustrations and is becoming somewhat of an expert in the history of Latin American collage. All right, let's get into this conversation. Kike, can you hear me?
I heard that. Now I can hear you. Hello.
Hey, thanks so much for coming in, man. This is awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure problem.
So, one of the reasons I'm excited to speak with you is because your work has recently been featured by The Guardian as one of the best illustrations of 2020. And if I read it correctly, I actually have an example right here. Was it about a really mean turkey?
Yes, it was a turkey that went berserk on Thanksgiving on some people on a park, and they decided that they wouldn't kill him for Thanksgiving, so they gave him like to a rescue home or something like that, and the job was to destroy this turkey, like terrorizing. I don't remember the city right now, but it was crazy because the Guardian contacted me via Instagram telling me, hey, can you do this? We needed it by today. I say, of course I can, and just did it, no? And after that, I went to other collaboration with them, so hoping they will give me more jobs. If you hear me, Guardian.
That's awesome. So I know people listening to the show often want to know, like, how can they get gigs like that? So how did they find you? Was it through your Instagram page?
Yeah, through Instagram. I mean, I don't really know what's the process to find artists to do work, but I guess they just stumble upon my Instagram and saw my work and say, yeah, this work of this guy. So that was awesome. Yeah, that's the magic of internet.
So I know it is super cool. So what was the other thing you made for them? You said you made a second illustration for them too?
Yeah, I made some for a co-working situation where the employees of a startup worked with their boss and lived with their boss, like all like living together in a situation where they like work from 9 to 7 and then they sleep in the same place. So there was like a kind of dystopian vibe or Orwellian thing going on that your boss is always looking at you. So I made like an illustration full of eyes and stuff, right? And it went well.
Cool. I wanted to talk to you about your collages because when I look at your collages, first of all, they're beautiful. We'll take a look at it, an example right here. You use so many layers, and I noticed a lot of your work are very illustrative. Like, for example, this one you made totally out of colored paper, right?
Huh?
And so
Okay.
how did you get into just free form cutting like characters and shapes like this?
Because from the first time I did collage, seriously, like was like a decade ago, I wanted to. I immediately incorporated the cardstock, colored cardstock in my work. It was like immediately. So I had so much cardstock that I decided also that I wouldn't want to be like only a collage artist that depends on my like expand my paper art, because I saw things at paper art that were amazing, and I don't do as much as paper art now, but I do combine the techniques of paper art into collage. So there you have the complex forms, the complex cutouts, you know. And so I try to mix both of them, because I don't really like to saturate my collage with a lot of images. I work with one or two images that strike me like the most, and then I try to use like the cardstock as a means of composing like circles and stuff. I'm obsessed with circles, so it's like really for me it's like cutting circles. And of course you have to manipulate like the knife, like X-Acto knife, really well and stuff. So it's kind of part of the job, right? I do recommend that every collage artist like learn to do paper art, because it really adds some level of skill to your collage skills, right?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And well, like when I look at your work, it celebrates being collage, and I also see that when I look at CollageWave, your Instagram page, you seem to like collage that doesn't just try to look like a photograph. You like collage that looks like collage. There's hints, there's layers,
Yes.
there's pairs. You like the material of it, right?
Whoa, that's a really nice appreciation, because you're so right. Yeah, I like collage that seems like there are two pieces of paper like coming together, and there are human error, and there's some glue and hair, maybe that kind of things that make us different from graphic design and the perfection of machines, you know. So I
Mm.
try to at first I try to do my stuff like really perfect with no things, and people thought that it was like made by laser or was like graphic design. So I kind of let go of that, and try to incorporate like error. If I made a mistake on one piece, I just let it go, you know. And that thing is like represents like the humanity in the piece. It's not like I'm a machine, no.
That's that's I really like that. You know, one thing I mentioned when I was speaking last week with Morgan Jesse Lappin is, you know, we work with old paper and old photographs, and in a way, these things are of an older time. There's not a lot of this stuff is never going to be printed ever again, and I think
Mm-hmm.
some of the interest, and I like hearing what you're saying, some of the interest that we can celebrate in collage is like, hey, look at this old stuff, look at this material, look at the layers. This is a whole thing. Huh. I never thought of it that way. We shouldn't be hiding that. You know, we shouldn't be hiding that.
Yes.
It should be, that's like part of the thing.
And actually, like running CollageWave has made me a kind of expert of detecting like digital or handmade collage, because sometimes you can really tell between one and another. So I really like looked at the imperfections of like, but that thing is like you recognize the handmade work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. I recently saw a photograph. I recently found a collage artist I hadn't heard of on Facebook, and I guess he's got like a full-length documentary about him. I'll look up his name. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a photograph of people looking at this collage artist's artwork, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
people looking at the artwork were like, we would call them bros here. They seemed like young, maybe like 19, 20 something, like kind of like surfer guys, you know. The collage had tons of layers. It was made out of all these recognizable things. I don't remember. Let's say like fortune cookie pieces and matchbooks or whatever. And I saw the photograph, the kids were looking at it, and I thought, you know, I think they're so interested in close to this collage because they're almost looking for little Easter eggs of all the things they could recognize. Maybe a piece came from a board game they had when they were younger, or maybe a piece, they had that baseball card or something. And once I saw that picture, I was like, you know, I want to start doing collages that have that are more tedious and have a lot more layers and have a lot more things, because that's kind of been a new draw for me. I used to try to do just 1, 2, 3 layer collages, make it look like a surreal photograph. Now I want to be like, let's put the weird stuff from around the house in there. So I really like the way that you approach collage. So using all of these layers and like card stocks and these things, what kind of adhesives do you like to use?
Okay, let's talk adhesives. I usually go for plain old glue stick, but since I work a lot with cardstock, I usually do like details and I'm playing with cutouts and stuff. Then I use like my good old spray adhesive. No,
Mhm.
this from the back you use it and they doesn't leave any mark and stuff. But these two, because I don't like the texture of liquid glue. And I don't know. I've tried Mod Podge. I've tried a lot of things, but the most simplest is the one that is the best always, right? Glue stick and scissors.
That's what I like to use too. I have on my Facebook group, I have a few people that have been making collages since it sounds like the 70s, and they said all the rubber cement collages did not age well. It sounds like rubber cement doesn't like hold up for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
But there's the thing, the other thing that yes, if you buy a cheap glue stick, it will stain your collage in time. Or the humidity will affect it, because Lima is really humid. We're right next by the ocean, so it's a really bad place to work collage. Okay, but what I do, and maybe it's a tip for everyone. I don't glue the paper. Every cutout, every clipping I have first into cardstock paper, and then I cut it out, so I have like a tablet more like firm to work, and the glue goes on the cardstock, so it won't affect the paper. It won't stain. So that's a tip for everyone.
Sure, that's great. That's awesome. So I want to talk more about CollageWave. And if you guys, if anyone listening, I'm almost certain you've heard of it. If you haven't, CollageWave is Kike's project. It's a popular Instagram page. And I was looking at your Patreon, and you mentioned one of your initial goals with CollageWave was to popularize collage making in Peru. Can you tell us a little bit more about CollageWave?
Sure, man. First it started because I was making collage here in Peru, and things went well. I was like accepted in like in the art scene, and I was the only one doing collage here and going to expos and bringing collage into the contemporary art here in Lima. So they offered me a solo exhibition to show my collage, and I thought, why being all me? Let's try to build something else. And I thought, there's people doing collage in Lima. I'm sure it is. I know a couple, but let's try to make like instead of using this opportunity like to use my work, let's show the work of everyone, and let's like try to make a collage scene happen in Peru. So I thought many names like Collage Punks and Collage Wada, and Collage Wave just like felt right, because I was really into retro wave, into a period, and the whole design of Collage Wave is really like retro wave. So can it wasn't like an idea initially. It was like this position. It was an annual exposition that I did until COVID hit. I did three years where collage artists from Lima Expo exhibited their work, and it was great because a lot of people started doing collage because they went to these shows. So that was cool. Then I traveled to New Orleans to Collage Fest, and I wanted to present the project CollageWave, and I thought let's do like a Instagram page where I can show CollageWave from all over the world, because I didn't feel any page on Instagram showed collage, or they showed like the same kind of collage, like the face of a girl modified. I felt like no page was like no was showing like the full range of collage. Huh? It's so varied and so many different types of collage that I didn't feel that there was any. So I kind of started like really researching and doing and scourging the web. I got to know you just like that. I found out your web. I reblogged you in CollageWave, and that's the way that also of making community, right? Because now we're talking and we're like making new things. So it's really
That's really
important to
cool.
me, not only like reblog, but like create a community and be in a place where people can show their stuff and their events and stuff, right? So I'm kind of lucky that got so popular, so big, and it's now like one of the biggest pages of collage on Instagram. So yay, CollageWave.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it feels really great when like from Collage Wave or for a repost. Man, it's awesome. It's such a cool page. I was you had me thinking, like, what is a way that collage artists can support each other in a city or a state or a neighborhood? I've collaborated on podcasts or YouTube or whatever. Like, how do you help a collage buddy out when you're in the same town?
Yeah, but usually Lima is really big, but the area where I live is where like the whole touristy, artisty thing happens. So I kind of have people around me that we talk. And before the pandemic, we usually got together and do collage together and stuff, right? But
Cool.
Peru was hit very, very badly with the pandemic. We're
Yeah.
still like I'm spraying to be vaccinated like next year if I'm lucky. So
Wow.
it's going really really slow. So
Yeah.
the sense of community has uh, transposed to online community, right? Like these
Sure.
talks and workshops, and I'm all about it because really. We, a lot of people like you are having these talk shows and trying to connect with other people with excuse that we're everyone is online nowadays, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of great to like seize that and not worry about like, okay, we not cannot get together, and I cannot support you like going to your exhibition right now, or buying stuff right now. So let's like find another way right around it.
That's cool. Hey, so before the show, you mentioned that you are collaborating with Collage Magazine, and you are writing a book about Latin American collage.
Yes. At what point I decided like not only be a collage artist, but be also like an historian of collage. Like, and what better place to start like here in Latin America, because you don't really know. You don't really know what's happening down here, but it's a lot happening right down here. So when I went to the second time to Collage Fest, I did like a little presentation on communities of collage here in Latin America, because I know many, and they offer me the next year like do a project, a book on this, like picking 6 countries and going through each country, like highlighting some artists and stuff. But I went a step further and tried to like piece together the history of collage in each country and how come collage came to be in each country, and taking in count the whole like historical background and a lot of like dictatorships like happens in the 50s and it's like really really like doing research on history and collage itself, right? And it's been a journey, because now I'm really connected with a lot of South American artists that really believe in the project and want to like create a voice that is like, hey, South America is a lot of collage happening. So I finished writing the book already. I'm doing like a minor clips here and there, but the book is ready, and it is only the first part of the project because I'm focusing like in 6 countries right now, but I want to cover all Latin American countries from Mexico to Chile, continent South America, Central America, every country. I want to piece the history of collage in each country, and maybe piece the history of collage in all South America.
So how long have you been working on this?
More than a year. Yeah, I've been conducting interviews. Like the funniest thing is that each piece of the book is written as a collage because it's come from interviews and things from the web and personal bios and stuff I get here and there. So it's like a whole looking like the pioneers of collage in each country and stuff. It's gonna be great. I'm really excited about that.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Huh.
man. And now recently that I've launched my personal like collage course, I'm also researching the history of collage in the world because I want to like give a theoretical class about like what happened to collage and how come we were lied and we were told that Picasso was the one that invented collage when it was way before that. Like Victorian
Yeah,
women were doing collage way before Picasso. So there's a whole of history that hasn't been covered on collage.
that's fantastic. And that's definitely that's work that we need to see and hear, right? Because collage
Yes.
always kind of pushed to the side. I mean, just your story with it not being true about Picasso and inventing it, yeah, that makes total sense. Why you're telling me nobody ever glued some things together before Picasso?
Come
Like,
on.
yeah. So the final product, is it going to be published like in or by Collage Magazine?
Yes,
What's going to be like the
it's
final
gonna
thing?
yeah, it's gonna be published by Collage Magazine somewhere next year, I think. I don't know where exactly. We're still working on that. But yeah, it's gonna be published by Collage Mag, so that's gonna assure that it's gonna go places, you know. So I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. How did you get in? When did you first start working with Collage Magazine? Did you do something with them before?
No, I just met Rick and the people at the festival. But the thing is, this was like a kind of scholarship I won from the Collage Institute. That is like a kind of project from Collage Magazine where they pick people to do projects and stuff. So they got interest in my project about South American collage, and they told me to do a book about it. They told me a little like points here and there, but then I did all the interviews and it was great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So one thing I saw that you do online that I wanted to talk to you about was
Hmm.
your collage workshops, and it sounds like you do a lot of workshops with kids in
Oh,
underprivileged areas and stuff like that. Um,
yes.
I I know a lot of people haven't heard about collage workshops. I love them, and I wanted to know more about your work with you in your workshops.
Yeah, it's really so because it's been almost like it's gonna be like a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years that I cannot give workshops outside. No, these are
Yeah,
places that I go that are really like really far away places from Lima, and I teach workshops in communities and stuff because I love to do it. It gives me so much back. You know, there's so much poverty and misery here that you feel like grateful of giving back to them and come on I live like really well in Lima. I cannot like I have to admit like I have a privilege like so I have to like give back, you know. So I started like giving workshops here in Lima, and then I started like communicating to associations and and people that were, because there are dangerous places, have to be like accepted, have to be with someone. I cannot go alone. It's not easy like that, right? So
Mhm.
it also permits me to go places in Lima that I wouldn't have known anywhere because there. So it's a way of like learning and not being like your bubble, and thinking that this district on this couple of district is Lima, when Lima is big and has a lot of faces, right? So for
Mhm.
me, it's just like giving back a couple of hours of my time to these kids, and I do it gladly. I don't charge, of course. I bring the materials, and we have a good time. When they're really really kids, there's no much you can do that just like sit with them and do stuff, right? There's no much you can learn much like stuff and get your hands in the glue. I always use like liquid glue with kids because it's important. They feel the material and stuff. You should know about that. You're a teacher also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've hosted a couple. I've hosted some before the pandemic. I was hosting a collage workshop with adults at this super cool. Um, it was an old church that turned into like a bar, and it was called the
Uh-huh.
Tabernacle. And this guy took like a year or two off of work, and he painted the whole thing. It was like a psychedelic Sistine chapel, and I am an elementary school teacher too, so I do work with kids. Um, let me tell you, a lot of glue sticks meet their end. I I can make a glue stick last week. I don't know these kids; they'll make one piece of artwork and they'll manage to use a whole glue stick. So I'm sure you go through a lot of glue sticks and a lot of liquid glue, man.
Yeah, yeah, but it's so great, man. I mean, I even want to do like a collage wave exhibition of only the kids, because they do like amazing stuff, and some of the kids you can really like read a little about inside them, because some are like really really precise with the cuts, and some are like really visceral and they just paint some captions.
Yeah.
So it's really like going through their minds, right? I can imagine that, okay, this kid has like his room like is really tidy and stuff. This kid like throw the things on the ground.
That's awesome. And for
Yeah.
kids too, I think in any way, the cool thing about a collage workshop is you don't have to get discouraged. Like let's say if you were drawing or painting, there's a different learning curve.
Yes.
Oh, I can't draw a person, or I can't draw an elephant, or I can't paint this. But with collage, you have it right here. You could use it as part of
Yeah.
your, and you're good to go, and you're
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
communicating.
Okay.
So
Because it, if
so
you
go ahead.
have a notion of composition and you have in your head, and you are like tempered by the fact that you can draw hands or perspective and stuff, like if you use like a process images, like print images, you can really really like discover how much you know about composition, because at the end collage is about composition. It's about like how you place the images and how you look them good together. So it's about that. It's not about the precision of the hand and the shadow. No, you just like discard that and just in the composition. At least that's my process, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. At the end of the day, it's all about composition.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. That's really good work, and I hope that you get your vaccine as soon as you can, and you could start those
Yeah,
workshops.
yeah.
You know?
Also, I gotta. You just made me remember. I got a project that never did, but I still want to do it. I was thinking about like a handbook for teaching workshops collage for children, like a free handbook for everyone that want to engage with his or her community doing collage, because collage workshops works very well as like means to integration stuff like that. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna like take that project and do it later on, because I think this is the thing we need to engage the community, like some guidelines, what I'm gonna do. I don't do collage stuff, and it's really easy. So you just need like a couple of guidelines.
That's cool. Have you ever heard of? There's a website called Teachers Pay Teachers. Have you heard of that?
No, never.
It's kind of like Etsy, Fiverr, but for teachers, right? So, like, let's say you want to come up with a lesson plan for Pablo Picasso, and you're pressed for time. You could go to Teachers Pay Teachers, and you could buy like a workbook or a lesson plan that you could just print at home. And maybe you could also have other attachments like a Google slideshow or a video or something like that. So
really
so I have a couple free collage kits on there, like things teachers could just print out and cut, because a lot of the magazines we get to collage with in the States are all like pictures of macaroni and cheese and I don't know, fashion magazines, So I was like, oh, maybe some teachers would like to find more surreal things. So I put it on there. It was free, and so that could be one place. I'm sure a lot of collage artists would love a handbook like that, but that would be another place to broaden your reach for a free resource.
That is, what do you teach in a collage class? It's not like a perspective plan or do we teach class? That is a question that always been in my mind. Like, it's only a gathering of people doing collage. Why I'm charging for this? And so you one needs to like put some academic thinking into collage maybe and like go forward from them, no?
Excellent. So thank you so much for sharing your insight on those workshops. You're coming at it from a whole different angle, and it's really awesome. And hey, if you make that handbook, definitely let me know, man. I'd definitely be interested in that.
Of course.
So Kike, I'm sure a lot of people really enjoyed this conversation. You shared so much good information. What would be the best place for people to find you? Is there anything else? First, is there anything else you'd like to tell us? And if anyone wants to find your work or learn more about you, where can they go?
Well, you can find me in Kansas City right here. And you can find CollageWave, and you can tag your handmade collages with hashtag CollageWave, and I'll find you. As a other thing I would like to say that CollageWave mostly focus on unknown collage artists that I like. Find it I known artists become more known, but for the lesser artists to have like a really big platform to do so, I'm always open to new artists, and I don't care if it's your second or third collage. If it's good, goes on CollageWave. So be sure to tag your stuff with CollageWave, and I'll be there.
Kike, thanks so much for everything that you're doing for the collage community. And I really appreciate you coming in to chat, man. I think we learned a lot, and I know I will be always checking that CollageWave feed.
Thank you so much, David. So good to be invited in the Hall of the Red Wizard. So have a great one, my friend.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.